The Edinburgh Fringe in full swing. This year's best jokes have been chosen, and unfortunately you've got me to deliver them. So I have got Tom Davis, an actual bona fide comedian, sitting next to me. Please don't judge me. OK, so in third place for the best one-liner of the year, Alex Kitson had this one. Ate a horse at a restaurant once, wasn't great. Starter was all right, but the main was dreadful. Yeah, no, I quite like that one. In second place was Alex Snook with, I've been taking salsa lessons for months, but I just don't feel like I'm progressing. It's just one step forward and two steps back. I love that one. That's a good one. Comedian Mark Simmons came out with the winning joke. I was going to sail around the globe in the world's smallest ship, but I bottled it. It's good, isn't it? You like those?
Yeah, Mark Simmons is a very good comedian.
He's very good. Well, of course, comedian Tom Davis is here, who actually took a 6-year break from doing stand-up due to anxiety, but now he's back on our screens with his latest show, Underdog.
It's an insane thing. I don't know if you've ever been in a picture with a boxer, but it's like a tick. As soon as you get in a picture of a boxer, you've got to go, all right, get a picture, mate. You've got to signal what they do. You don't do that with other celebrities. You wouldn't see Elton John and go, Elton, any chance for a picture?
And the brilliant Tom Davis joins me now. Hello.
Hello, how are you? You all right?
I'm all right, thank you.
Good to see you.
You know, you've done so much. You've achieved so much. Blockbuster films, stand-up, your own series that you've written, starred, got BAFTA awards for. It's called Underdog. Do you still internally feel like
Yeah,
I
think so. I think that's. I was talking to Ramesh about this, and I think that's probably going to be the way I feel for the rest of my life. I think in my life, I had so many things. I think from a very young age, being sort of told at school, from juniors really, that I wasn't really going to amount to much. I wasn't really going to achieve many things. I was dyslexic. I had sort of ADHD. I'd sort of struggled a lot at school. So I think that sets you in life up to sort of almost feel like that failure. And I think most things I tried up until stand-up, I'd sort of failed at, labouring on a building site, whatever. I wasn't very good at many things, and I got quite tough skin. I got sort of quite used to sort of being a failure. So actually, by the time I started stand-up and sort of came into this industry, rejection and things didn't hit me as hard as I think normally it would. So that feeling of an underdog, I don't look at it as a negative. I think it's a positive. I think we can almost failure in life is a massive sort of growth a lot of the time.
It's interesting because, well, how old were you? About in your 30s by the time you got into stand-up?
Yeah. Early 30s. I'd worked on building sites most. I tried other things and worked in kitchens and worked in many different trades and often not been very good at it. So I'd just sort of given it a try. I just thought I've got to try something differently. And
you were just a generally funny chap. You were a funny bloke. And everyone always said it, did they? He's so funny.
Yeah, I've been able to get out of work by cracking jokes. So
Oh,
I thought,
really?
well, I'll try and make some money from this. But if I'm honest with you, I just fell in love with it as an art form and something to sort of break away from the monotony of being on like a building site the whole time. That's what I knew. That's what I'd always been around. And I loved that. I loved the guys. I loved working on a site. But I needed something more. And it just grew from there, and every day has just been a part of that journey, one that I enjoy very much.
But then you took this 6 years is a long time to not do the thing that you've just described as the thing that gave you, a renewed sense of creativity in your life and gave you a brand new life, really, a completely different sort of life from the one you expected to have, I suppose. So what was why the 6-year break? I
think anxiety, when I look back, anxiety played a big part in that. I think there was a side of it that was, I started questioning how good I was or whether I'd had people around me at that time who'd sort of put quite negative thoughts into my style as a stand-up, and that had sort of almost started demolishing my confidence within it. And I think that I'd started questioning too much of that. And I think that sort of, I was talking backstage with some of your team about sort of radiators and drains, and I was probably had too many drains in my life at that point. And I think that just made me question it all. And so I took a step back, and if I'm honest, it wasn't a step back. I thought, that's it now, I won't do this again. And I think I was very fortunate to have a few people, Ramesh included, who was sort of always at me, like, you need to sort of try and come do this again. And
it's interesting because you guys do a podcast together, don't you? And because you couldn't think of a topic to do on, you just do on everything.
Yeah,
it's just like a come-all thing.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, because, of course, you talk about your anxiety now, but you also, I think you talk about listening. We've got men aren't we're still not there. People aren't talking about how they actually feel.
No, I think we can pretend. You know, I think we've come a long way. I think we have. Me and Ramesh talk a lot about it in the podcast.
Yeah.
You know, we talk constantly about how we feel and how we're feeling at any given moment. But then, I've got friends. I've got a mate recently who's been through quite a serious breakup and went through quite a sort of tough time. And I've got a lot of my other mates who sort of asked for him not to come to the pub because they found it sort of like, because he'd be quite sad. And you're like, well, no, we all need to be here for him. And I think that was a worrying thing that we have as men. It's like, I think we cannot escape. But then also that we have this whole narrative, we need to talk. But a lot of the time people hold this stuff so deep within.
So deep.
They don't really know what to say.
No.
So I think that's a really important thing, is to get the conversation. We can't just say, we need to say, what are we talking about and how to let that out.
It's amazing. And what part of that is the cold water swimming, is that right? I mean, you now have a very sort of quite a strict routine about how you take care of yourself.
Massively. I was sort of through lockdown, really. I've lost about 4 stone since then. I was like in a place, I think, going into lockdown where I don't, you know, for personal reasons, a lot of different things, and I got into sort of quite an unhealthy way of living.
I think
and
so many people did, though, Tom. It wasn't just you. Yeah.
So then I sort of was like, you know, so cold plunges, weights, walking. I just got a real love of actually exercising, and I'd done a physical job most of my life. So
yes.
All of a sudden, being on tour and being away from home, eating bad foods, late nights, you sort of slip into a place where you're adding weight after, you know, and so yeah, just living a bit more healthy, and also, you know, I'm 45. I've got a young daughter. I don't, you know, I want to try and be around as long as I can, and so I think that's the thing. I think with that's given me a different,
You know, you talk about all of the sort of the sort of inner journey, the inner fight to keep going and to sort of make something wonderful, and then, you know, you're on screen with Timothy Chalamet, you know, the biggest star on the globe, and you're just, I mean, these moments, and Olivia Colman, I mean, you know, and Tom Davis, and isn't that wonderful? Isn't your story a wonderful story, really? It's a film in itself, isn't it?
Well, Ramesh said a really weird thing to me. I'll keep going with Ron, but if you look at the chances of the things that have happened, you know, Murder and Successful and the success of that, and King Gary, you probably got more chance of really, like, winning the lottery. What the odds would have been to have been a labourer still at, you know, 33. And to be here, it's incredible. But then also...
And the success can come later in life. We often think that success has to come in your 20s. You've got to nail it.
Yes, man. You know? Again, we've been doing a thing recently with the Prince's Trust, which has been an incredible thing to mentor young people, to make creative writing more accessible, which has been in itself a massive inspiration, to have these young people who've come to us, and we opened it up for a week to get young people, teach them, you know, in a week, try and write a script, and then I brought sort of quite a lot of my actor friends in to read the scripts.
Great.
And honestly, I was blown away by these young people. So
amazing.
We've now opened up to a year where we mentor these kids for a year, and we're trying to develop their stories and develop their scripts.
And this is with the Prince's Trust.
The Prince's Trust.
Amazing
and
work,
my,
don't they?
Production company, Mighty Pebble. So,
good.
And then we're going to try and make that more regional. And that's the thing, I look at my journey and it's been amazing, but I don't want that to be a solo story. I want people from my background, from where I come from, to try and give those people a chance and open the door to people.
You can be the underdog and still make it to the top, as you are proof of. An underdog, great. You were on tour for ages, weren't you? But it's on Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Sky Comedy and Now, and it's a wonderful, wonderful laugh. It's just uplifting, and I think your proudest work, you say.
Yeah, very, very, very proud of it.
Yeah, super stuff. And also, you're going to stay because you've talked about the cold water.
Yeah.
Dr. Amir is about to do it for the first time.
Well, yeah, I want this.
Yeah, exactly. Did you scream on the first time you did it?
Yeah, I still scream now and again.
We'll tell our sound crew to be aware of that.